The glass hits the marble floor, and the entire restaurant goes silent. Every fork stops. Every conversation dies. 40 stories above Chicago, the only sound left is crystal shattering across white stone, pieces spinning outward like a slow disaster nobody moved to stop. Zara McKenzie stands at the center of it all. Completely still. Hands at her sides. Back straight. Her uniform is pressed. Her face gives nothing away. The man at table 7 is already on his feet. Cashmere blazer, third scotch in 40 minutes. His voice carries across the entire floor like he designed the room himself. She did that on purpose. I want her off this floor. Right now. Dear friends, have you ever been blamed for something at work that was not your fault, and had to stay completely silent just to keep your job? Drop a yes or a no in the comments right now. I truly want to hear from you. Also, tell us where you are watching from, and if you are new here, subscribe to this channel. This is where we cook and serve beautiful stories. Let's continue. Zara did not do anything. The table edge caught his sleeve when he reached across for his phone. 3 servers saw it happen. But not one of them is going to open their mouth. Not in a room like this. Not in front of a man who places his black card face up on the tablecloth before he even sits down. What no one in this room knows, what no one in this city knows, is the man seated quietly alone at table 3. He has not touched his food. He has not looked at his phone once. He has been watching this room for exactly 43 minutes, and his gaze has not drifted far from Zara McKenzie. His reservation reads simply, W. Cole. His real name is Weston Calloway. He does not look like what he is. White dress shirt rolled to the elbows. Plain watch. No tie. The kind of face that belongs to someone who has worked with his hands before, who has mopped a floor before, who has stood in shoes exactly like Zara's and felt the full weight of a room that has already decided who you are before you say a single word. He watches the manager cut through the floor toward Zara. Watches him stop. Watches him lean in close and speak in the kind of quiet that is designed to sound like concern but lands like a command. Zara's jaw tightens by 1 degree. Her hands close slowly at her sides. She says something back to the manager. And the manager's face shifts in a way that turns 2 nearby tables completely silent. Weston Calloway sets down his water glass and leans forward in his chair for the first time all evening. Whatever Zara McKenzie just said, he is not ready to look away. 3 hours earlier, the elevator doors open on the 40th floor, and the city appears like something out of a dream. Floor-to-ceiling glass runs the full length of the restaurant. The Chicago skyline stretches beyond the windows, towers catching the last gold of the afternoon sun, Lake Michigan burning silver in the distance. Every table is covered with white linen. Every glass is crystal. Every candle flame burns at the same height. This is not just a restaurant. It is a room designed to remind certain people they belong, and certain people they do not. Zara McKenzie pushes through the service door at 5:15 with 6 plates balanced on a tray. She does not look down at once. Her shoes are worn at the right heel. Her gold stud earrings are the only pair she owns that do not catch on her collar. No necklace. No rings. Hair pinned back in a clean bun, 2 clips holding everything flat. She has worked on this floor for 11 months. She knows every table number, every manager's blind spot, every shortcut through the kitchen that saves 40 seconds per round. She clocks in at 5 and does not stop moving until midnight. Every 2 weeks, she sends $200 to her younger brother Dion, who is in his 2nd year of nursing school in Atlanta and has no room to fall behind. Tuition is due on Friday. Zara does not think about any of that while she works. She thinks only about the table in front of her. Nothing else gets through. At 6:47, a check-in comes through the host stand. Single guest. Table for 1. No special requests. No dietary notes. The name on the screen reads, W. Cole. The host glances at it and assigns table 3 without a second thought. Nobody recognizes the name. 17 minutes later, a man steps off the private elevator with his hands in his pockets. He pauses at the entrance and takes in the room in one slow, unhurried pass, the way someone does when they are not looking for a table but looking for something else entirely. He sits down at table 3. He picks up the menu. Then he sets it back down. And he looks directly at Zara McKenzie crossing the floor, and something in his expression changes in a way he does not try to hide. Because Weston Calloway has been in rooms like this his entire adult life. But he has never once seen someone navigate one the way she does. Table 7 fills at 7:20, and the entire floor feels it before the man even sits down. He walks in ahead of his 2 companions like the reservation was a courtesy he did not need. He shrugs his jacket off before the host can reach for it and drapes it over the chair back himself. Italian cut. Pale gray with a faint check. He straightens his cufflinks, gold, square-faced, the kind worn to be seen, and picks up the menu before anyone hands it to him. His name is Craig Harmon. Hedge fund partner. His firm's name appears on the side of 2 buildings within 4 city blocks of where he is currently sitting. He has eaten at this restaurant 23 times this year. The staff knows this because he mentions it. He snaps his fingers in the direction of the nearest server without looking up. The nearest server is Zara. She crosses the floor with the same steady, open expression she carries to every table. No performance. No extra warmth. Just a person arriving to do her job with full attention. What can I get you tonight? Craig Harmon looks up. He looks at her the way someone looks at a light switch. Functional. Ordinary. Not worth a second glance. Wagyu. Medium rare. Tell them not to drown it. He pauses, still looking at the menu. And I'd prefer a different server. Someone with actual wine knowledge. One of his companions shifts slightly in his seat. Zara does not flinch. Of course. I'm also happy to walk you through the wine list myself if that works. Craig looks up slowly. A full, unhurried once-over that has nothing to do with wine and everything to do with establishing distance. I'd rather not. He looks back down. Zara writes the order, clicks her pen, and walks back toward the service station with the same stride she came in with. Across the room, Weston Calloway watches every second of it. He has sat across tables from men like Craig Harmon. He grew up watching them. He knows exactly how a man like that behaves when the room around him offers no resistance. He knows where that kind of behavior goes when it is left alone. And right now, every single person on this floor is leaving it alone. The manager at the host stand has not moved. The 2 servers who caught the exchange have already looked away. Zara returns to the floor 5 minutes later, carrying Craig Harmon's scotch. What happens when she sets it down is about to give the woman at table 4 a reason to reach for her phone. Zara sets the glass down without a sound, centered on the cocktail napkin, exactly as trained. Craig Harmon lifts it without looking at her, takes one sip, and places it back with the careful precision of a man constructing an argument. That's not what I ordered. Zara checks her tablet. Glenlivet 18, neat. That's what I have noted. I said Macallan. He says it at the table, not to her. As if the correction is for the room. As if she were not standing there at all. Zara does not argue. I'll get that taken care of right away. She turns. Hold on. His voice hardens by 1 degree. You wrote it down wrong. Don't make the bartender take the hit for your mistake. The woman to Craig's left studies her own glass. His male companion finds something deeply interesting in the skyline beyond the window. Zara turns back. I apologize for the confusion. I'll have the correct drink to you in 2 minutes. Craig leans back slowly. He looks at his companions with the exhausted expression of a man who has come to expect less. This is exactly why I ask for someone who is actually paying attention. A table nearby goes quiet. No phones appear yet. But heads turn. Zara returns to the service station. She does not rush. She does not let anything show. She pours the correct glass and carries it back to table 7 at the same pace as every other delivery she has made tonight. She sets it down. Craig picks it up. Takes a single sip. Places it back on the linen. Still wrong. It is not wrong. It is the correct bottle. The correct pour. The correct glass. Everyone within 10 feet of the table can see that. But that is no longer what this is about. The floor can feel it now, the slow, deliberate drift toward somewhere uglier. At table 3, Weston Calloway watches the floor manager receive a nudge from the host stand and stay exactly where he is. He watches a busboy named Elijah pause near the service cart and catch Zara's eye for one brief second. Elijah's expression carries something heavy, the look of someone who knows what is coming because he has seen it come before. Elijah turns back to the table he is clearing. Craig Harmon raises one hand lazily in Zara's direction without lifting his eyes from his phone. And Zara walks back toward him. The Wagyu arrives at 7:54. Zara places the plate down with both hands, perfectly centered, the white edge of the linen untouched. Craig Harmon cuts into it. Chews once. Sets his fork down on the plate with a quiet, deliberate click. It's cold. The kitchen runs tight. Every plate leaves under the heat lamp with 45 seconds on the clock. This one made the floor in 31. It is not cold. The steam still moves off the surface. I can have the kitchen prepare a fresh cut for you. How many times are we going to go through this tonight? His voice lifts just enough to carry, not a shout, not a scene, but perfectly calibrated to pull the attention of every table within range. Is this a performance? Are you doing this intentionally? The woman at the next table sets down her fork. I'm not, sir. I want you to have a great meal. Then start acting like it. He looks at her now. A flat, unhurried stare. Or is this actually your best? Two phones appear on separate tables. Neither one points up yet. But the silence spreading across the floor is the kind that comes just before something breaks. The floor manager, Patrick, moves in from the side hallway. He crosses to Zara and places one hand briefly on her shoulder, a gesture that reads like support and functions like a fence. Let's step over here for just one moment, Patrick says quietly to her. Then, angled toward Craig, Mr. Harmon, I sincerely apologize. We are going to make this right immediately. Craig waves one hand the way a person waves off a slow elevator. Patrick steers Zara 2 steps toward the service hall. His voice drops. I need you to go back to that table, address him by name, apologize directly, and smile. Give him whatever he needs to hear. Zara looks at Patrick. 4 full seconds of silence. He has not said one accurate thing tonight, Patrick. That is not the point right now. Then what is? Patrick pulls his shoulders back. The point is that Craig Harmon spends $14,000 a month in this restaurant, and you are on a temp contract. That is the entire point. Zara is quiet. 4 seconds. Then she nods once and walks back out onto the floor. At table 3, Weston Calloway's phone is face down on the linen. He is completely still. His jaw is tight in a way it was not 10 minutes ago. Near the service cart, Elijah grips the edge of the cart and watches Zara cross toward table 7. He knows what Craig Harmon is about to say next. Because Craig Harmon said the same thing the last time he was here. And that night, a server named Brianna went home early and never came back. Craig Harmon stands up. Not to leave. Not to call for the manager. He stands up the way a man stands when he has decided the room needs to understand something about him. He lifts the plate with both hands and sets it back down on the table, hard. Sauce breaks across the white linen in a slow dark stain. The crystal glasses tremble. The woman at the next table pulls her chair back by 3 inches without standing. Every phone on the floor comes up now. I have eaten in this restaurant 41 times. His voice is measured. Loud enough for the room. Quiet enough to sound calm. 41 times. And tonight is the single worst experience I have ever had. And it is entirely because of her. He points at Zara. Not in her direction. At her. Finger extended. Arm straight. The way a person points at an object they want removed from a room. Zara stands completely still. Both hands at her sides. Her breathing does not change. People like you should thank God every morning that people like me show up to places like this. He says it slowly. Each word is given its own space. Because without us, you do not have a job. You do not have a floor to walk on. You do not have anything. The room is so quiet that the city outside the windows feels louder than the restaurant. Patrick, the manager, is frozen at the edge of the service hall. Elijah has stopped moving entirely, one hand still resting on the cart handle, eyes forward. Nobody speaks. Nobody moves. And somewhere inside Zara McKenzie, in the space behind her ribs where she keeps the things she does not say out loud, she hears her mother's voice. Clear as a phone call. Warm as the last night, they sat together in the kitchen on Ashland Avenue before everything changed. Her mother, Celestine McKenzie, worked 31 years in rooms not unlike this one. She came home with her feet hurting and her pride still intact. Who told Zara one thing, just once, the night before she passed? She said, the moment you let a small person define the size of your response, you give them a power they were never big enough to earn. Zara's chin comes up by 1 degree. Her shoulders settle. She looks at Craig Harmon, not past him, not around him, directly at him, and when she speaks, her voice does not shake by a single note. Sir. I have done my job correctly every time I have come to your table tonight. I have been patient. I have been professional. And I have been kind to you even when you made that extremely difficult. Craig's expression shifts. Not much. But enough. I am not going to apologize for something I did not do. And I am not going to be spoken to that way, not by you, not by anyone in this room, and not by anyone in any room. She sets her order pad on the table. If you would like to speak to the manager, he is standing 12 feet behind you and has been listening to this for the last 4 minutes. Every eye in the restaurant moves to Patrick. Patrick's face drains of color. And at table 3, Weston Calloway is already on his feet. The room does not breathe. Weston moves across the floor without rushing. No urgency in his stride. No performance. He walks the way a man walks when the outcome has already been decided in his mind, and the only thing left is the conversation. He stops at table 7. Craig Harmon turns. He looks at Weston the way he has looked at everything tonight, with the flat, patient contempt of someone who has never once been corrected in public. Can I help you? Weston does not answer immediately. He looks at Zara first. One quiet, steady look that carries something she cannot quite name yet, recognition, maybe. The kind that has nothing to do with having met before. Then he looks at Craig. If she were someone you considered important, Weston says, would any of tonight have happened? Craig makes a short sound that is almost a laugh. I'm sorry, who are you? Weston reaches into the inside pocket of his jacket. He places a single card face up on the white linen next to Craig's stained plate. Craig looks down at it. His 2 companions look down at it. Patrick crosses the floor in 6 fast steps and picks it up. He reads it once. Then he reads it again. The color that left his face a minute ago does not come back. The card reads, Weston Calloway. Calloway Group. Principal owner, Elevation Hospitality Holdings. Elevation Hospitality Holdings owns this building. It owns this restaurant. It owns the lease on the 40 floors beneath them. Craig Harmon looks up from the card with the expression of a man who has just understood a joke at his own expense, too late, too completely, in front of too many witnesses. But Weston is not looking at Craig anymore. He is looking at Zara. And what he says next, quietly, just to her, makes Patrick take 1 full step backward. Weston says 4 words. Don't pick that up. He means the order pad. The one Zara set on the table. The one that, in every version of this night she had already run through in her mind, she was going to quietly retrieve before walking off the floor for the last time. She leaves it where it is. Weston turns to the room. Not theatrically. He simply turns, the way a person turns when they have something to say and want it heard clearly. My name is Weston Calloway. I own this property. I have been sitting at table 3 for the past hour and 40 minutes. He pauses. I watched everything. The phones that came up during Craig's performance are still up. Now they are pointed at Weston. This woman did her job without a single error tonight. She was patient when she did not have to be. She was professional when this room gave her every reason not to be. And not one person in a position of authority on this floor said a word. He looks at Patrick directly. Patrick looks at the floor. That ends tonight. Craig Harmon pushes back from the table and stands. Now listen, I spend serious money in this establishment, and I expect. You are no longer welcome in any property under this group. Weston's voice does not rise. It does not have to. That is effective immediately. Your account will be settled and your information removed from our reservation system by morning. Craig opens his mouth. Closes it. His companion to the left is already reaching for his jacket. The room is completely still. Then, from somewhere near the back tables, one person begins to clap. Slow at first. Then a second person. Then the sound spreads across the floor the way warmth spreads, gradually, then all at once. Elijah, at the service cart, sets down his cloth and claps with both hands. Zara has not moved. She is standing at table 7, order pad still on the linen, and her eyes are bright in a way that has nothing to do with tears and everything to do with something being returned to her that she did not realize had been taken. Weston turns to her. Walk with me. She looks at him. I still have 4 tables on the floor. He almost smiles. The kind of almost that changes a face entirely. I'll find someone to cover them. She holds his gaze for 3 full seconds. Then she picks up her order pad, not because she has to, but because she decides to, and she walks with him toward the window wall where the city burns 40 stories below them and the night is just beginning to open up into something neither one of them fully expected. Weston does not fire Patrick that night. He does something that lands harder. He sits him down at table 3, the same table where he spent the evening watching everything unfold, and he asks him one question. If her contract had been permanent instead of temporary, would tonight have gone differently? Patrick does not answer for a long time. That silence is the answer. By 9 the next morning, 3 things have changed inside Elevation Hospitality Holdings. Temp contract language is removed from all front-of-house staffing agreements across all properties in the group. A formal customer conduct policy is drafted and posted in every dining room. Guests who engage in targeted harassment of staff are removed, permanently, with no exceptions for spent history. And a third-party review of management response protocols is commissioned across all 23 properties. Craig Harmon's membership account closes without ceremony. Elijah, who watched and stayed quiet and carried that weight home, shows up the next morning and asks to speak to someone in HR. He files a full account of the previous night. He also files accounts of 2 prior incidents involving other servers, including the night Brianna left and never came back. His voice shakes when he reads it aloud. But he reads all of it. When Zara hears what Elijah did, she finds him in the break room before his shift. She does not tell him he is brave. She does not offer him easy comfort. She says, that took something real. The people who came before us needed someone to do that a long time ago. Thank you. Elijah nods. His eyes are red at the edges. He goes back to work. The systemic change is quiet, the way real change usually is. No press release. No celebration. Just policy is becoming different. Rooms are becoming safer. The small, daily architecture of dignity is being rebuilt one decision at a time. And Zara McKenzie, who came to work that night with Friday's tuition payment turning slow circles in the back of her mind, receives a phone call on Thursday morning from the Callaway Group Foundation. A full scholarship. Business administration. Starting in the fall. She sits with the phone in her hand for a long time after the call ends. Then she calls Dion. 6 months later, Zara walks back into the restaurant on the 40th floor. Not in uniform. Not carrying a tray. She steps off the elevator in a black dress and low heels, hair down for the first time in as long as she can remember, and the host, a young woman named Amara who started 3 weeks ago, greets her with a full smile and leads her to table 3. Weston is already there. He stands when she arrives. Not because the room expects it. Because he wants to. They sit across from each other, and the city spreads out behind the glass in every direction, and for a while neither one of them says very much. They order. The food arrives. Outside, Chicago moves at its own pace 40 floors below, indifferent and magnificent. At some point, Weston says, "You scared me that night." Zara looks up. When? When you picked the order pad back up. She is quiet for a moment. Then she says, "I picked it up because it was mine. Not because anyone told me to." He nods slowly. Like that is the most accurate sentence he has heard in a long time. There is no dramatic moment between them. No speech. No grand declaration. Just two people sitting at a window table in a room that once tried to make one of them feel small, sharing a meal and a silence that has enough space in it for something real to grow. Zara looks out at the skyline. The lake is dark silver tonight, the towers burning gold at their edges. She thinks about Celestine. About Dion. About Brianna, whoever she is now, wherever she landed. About Elijah, clocking in this same night somewhere in the building below them, doing his job with more courage than before. She thinks about the order pad sitting on a table 7 months ago, and the choice that lived inside that one small moment. Weston watches her think. He does not interrupt it. Some things do not need to be filled in. Some things are already whole. The final line belongs to no one in the room. It belongs to every person who has ever stood in a uniform in a room that looked through them, and held their chin up anyway. Dignity is not something a room can give you. And it is not something a room can take away. It was always yours. You just had to decide to keep it. If this story moved something in you, if you have ever stood in a room and had to choose between silence and truth, share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your words might be exactly what another person needs to find the strength to hold their ground tomorrow. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story on this channel that reminds you who you are and what you are worth. Every story here is for the people who keep showing up with dignity, even when the room has not earned it yet.